Yeah, so I met some of you guys at the event just over a week ago, but today I'm going to touch on why it's the best time in history to buy creative finance deals, and whether you've never done a creative finance deal or you've got a team and you're looking to scale to do over 10 a month, offer some nuggets here that you can implement. Just a little bit about me. This is my small family, 1-year-old daughter. We just moved over to London in May. So right as the market changed and rates were increasing. So that was a fun transition. I built everything virtually from the start. And so travel is a big part of our lives and a priority for us. So we've got a team in Boise, Idaho. That's our primary market, of about 16, and most of which are in person there. Been with the family just under a year now, and my background's in mechanical engineering. So lot of data driven math and science geeking out on my end. That's what I like to do. Just a little micro on the Boise, Idaho market. It was the poster child for market appreciation during COVID. So we were close to about 50% appreciation for the 2.5 to 2 years of that run up, and now it's a poster child for market decline. So as of now, we're 28% down from peak pricing in May, 28%. So quite a roller coaster of a market, with days on market approaching 80 now. The funny part about it is inventory is still at about 1.6 months, so just over a month and a half. Now, there's some seasonality that comes into play there, but it's a little interesting, isn't it, that prices are down so much, but inventory is still relatively low. So some of this is going to be piggybacking off of Jason's presentation a little over a week ago, but this is, a lot of people are familiar with this graph, right? The sink analogy that Jason used with where are we at with housing inventory on a macro level. If we zoom out, we're still near all-time lows. Coupled with new listings data, highly recommend Altos Research. They have some great stuff. 2023, we're trending considerably lower than years past for new listings. And why is that? It's because everyone's got a cheap mortgage. So the asset is not the property anymore. It is that long-term fixed rate debt. And roughly 7 out of every 10 properties have mortgages under 4%. Roughly 3 out of every 10 properties have mortgages under 3%. So this is the largest wealth creation opportunity in history, I think, that nobody is talking about. It's this long-term fixed debt, and you can still get this cheap debt for those that have the ability to take over the mortgages and to be creative deal makers. Creative finance we've always been doing creative finance deals in our market, but it was really the life preserver for us last year when the market changed and we got hit in the mouth a bit. We were, doing developments, flips, Airbnbs, rentals, wholesaling, and we had to take a step back and reassess in the summer where everything was at. In Q3 and Q4, 75% of our deal flow came in through acquisition of creative finance, so either a sub-2 or a seller finance. Also in Q1 of this year, over half of our deal flow is still creative finance. So what did we do to bring in those leads differently? We hyper-focused on median price point and below. We hit mobile homes with land list harder than ever before, and I'll get into some nuggets and stuff that you guys can implement with your teams specific to those. But if you're looking to do more of these deals, it's not something that you're going to want to throw at your entire team, a bunch of training, and ask them to go or think that they're going to be successful. It's best to promote one person to this head of underwriting that is your creative finance expert, that either does the in-person appointments, takes the calls, does the closing calls, is the subject matter expert. To the point where you can do a property like this that's sent out $60,000 over market value, but it's got a first position at 2.875%. It's got a second position note to the seller at $800 a month at 0% interest. An investor's willing to overpay for this property, overpay by $60,000 over market value because he can cash flow and get a 10 to 15% cash on cash return, plus have this fixed debt for the next 29 years. So these are just a few of the examples. So who, just on a big level, who is most likely to do a creative finance deal? It's, of course, your foreclosures. It's your sellers with financial pain. Those are going to be a majority of your subject twos. It's also going to be your analytical type sellers. These are people that are just stuck on a number. They want their number. They don't care how they get it or how long it takes. Those are going to be the ones that have your piggyback second positions at 0% interest. And then failed listings, a lot of failed listings right now that you can capitalize on. On the seller finance side, your tired landlords, these are the older demographic. They just want their mailbox money. You know, when the market was good and it was cash, everything's appreciating. They can put up with some of these tenant issues now in a market that's declining or not appreciating anymore. Those problems sting a little bit more. Again, the mobile homes with land lists, if you're not hitting that or marketing to that, you should be. That is a significant amount of our lower price deal flow that people really, really want and will pay a premium for if we're going to wholesale it. And then ironically, the bigger the deal, the more open people are to this creative deal structure, right? So the more units, if it's a land play, multifamily, we just locked up a multifamily deal last week that had a 3.3% assumable loan. And then we're doing a piggyback second to come up to the guy's number. So how do you train your sales team to do this? This is really where the magic happens or fails, because a confused mind says no. So you have to be really clear on your sales process with your team. For us, we're price anchoring. We're going with a cash offer. Then we go to terms, which is creative finance, and then we go to novation. We don't skip the order of those because if you just throw all of this material at your sales team and tell them to go, they won't ask the pain questions. They won't ask the motivating questions. They won't qualify the seller properly. They'll just jump to, oh, we can pay more than anyone else can, as long as it's over time, and it jacks everything up. What we ask the seller is to rank, hey, what's most important to you? Price, monthly payment, down payment. Never bring up interest rate. We never bring up number of years. Don't do that. They'll butt in if they think it's important to them. But generally speaking, people care about how much money am I going to get every month, and can I get my price? And we as the investor care most about the entry fee. So the low down payment is crucial. Don't be surprised if you have some title companies. It's getting a little bit better now that more people are doing more creative deals. But don't be surprised if you get a title company that is not friendly to this. We've had multiple title companies that will actually do 2 or 3 of these with, and then on the 4th one, they'll say, oh, we can't do these anymore. And they don't give a reason why. So don't let that deter you. The title company is your advocate, and they're a fantastic resource. They're almost like a secondary closer, if you will, if you find the right person that can help explain all these things and make sure they can handle these objections that sellers have if they've never heard of this before. Not going too deep on the first conversation on terms. This is going to take more touches, and phone appointments are going to convert significantly less. Just like we do mostly in-person appointments when we can, but it can be done over the phone. It's just going to convert less, not being in person. So what will this do for you guys? For us, it's given us significantly more depth and width. So by depth, we can drum up these leads in our database that we didn't even have exit strategies or solutions for. We passed up for lower hanging fruit. We can negotiate a development play with a 8-month due diligence, 5% down, 4% interest, and seller subordinating their note to the construction loan. So we're almost no money up front. You can wrap a dinky little mobile home on a third of an acre and make $250,000 over the next 30 years. My personal favorite, again, mobile homes or mobile home parks in high density zoning, gentrifying areas, we hit like crazy. You can cash flow on these things, you can get great terms, and you can sit on them as long as you want until it's time to build an apartment complex or bring in partners or whatever you want to do. So we got one of these. My favorite deal so far this year was one we got for $0 down, 0% interest. And then we noticed the developer next door had already cleared the lots. Now we're partnering with him to build some townhomes. Macro level, some things that you guys can ask for now that we weren't getting before. We don't do any single family builds right now. We just do townhomes and multifamily, but you can get 6, 8 months, even a year of due diligence right now without putting a penny down for hard earnest money. Like your earnest money is safe until then. So there's a lot of opportunity right now for land development if you can give yourself a runway, because right now with all the uncertainty, it's about minimizing your risk and eliminating downside risk, giving yourself that runway and time to make decisions without any capital outlay. And one thing we're starting to see in our market, labor costs are finally starting to come down. Material costs have already been coming down, but we're seeing about a 5 to 10% reduction in labor costs as well, which is a good sign. It's something that we haven't seen in multiple years. So good news on the development front. I think you're going to see quite a few of these opportunities in certain markets in the next year. So that's all I got, guys. My big give is I'm happy to hop on a call with anyone or your team if you have questions on how to scale this or things to implement properly. Please shoot me a message or an email.
Awesome. This is good stuff. And Jen Delfave just wrote, "This is gold, Ryan. Great stuff." Creative deal making. I mean, this is where it's at, right? I mean, you see deals, Ryan, where other people don't see deals, right? In the structure, in the format, being able to solve the problem in a creative way of that, motivated home seller, that desperate home seller, or motivated multifamily seller or motivated commercial seller. It doesn't matter, right? These principles apply to everything we do. So I love it. We've got some great creative deal makers in the group. You're one of them.